I'm pretty new to this YouTube thing. Like, I'm making these videos and they're fun. Trust me, they're so fun. But with that being said, like, I forget that you have to ask for subscribers.
What?
Like, I was under the assumption that subbing to someone is so easy, but it takes a lot for someone to sub to your channel. Like, in my past few videos I've done over the past month, it's only a few videos, but I've gotten like pretty good likes for just starting. And I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for it. Thank you for liking the video. And like my like to view ratio is pretty good for like just starting. And I'm thankful again. But if you like the video, sub.
Bro, please, bro. Why are you do?
But like sub to the channel though. Like I'd really appreciate it. I don't want to sound like I'm begging or sound desperate, but anyways, yeah, I'm done begging basically. Onto the video.
I'm sorry.
All right, coming in the ninth spot, we have Starboy, the release back in 2016. Now, before I get into my explanation and reasoning on why it's ranked last, hear me out. This album is good. The Weeknd doesn't have a bad album. Like Starboy, even though ranked last, is still a good album. Don't get it mistaken. All right? This hour-long, 9-minute playlist has songs that can be remembered for a long, long time on here, like the title track Starboy, one of his best title tracks he's ever produced. One of his more up-tempo albums. He does the fast-paced music and R&B fairly well. This is his most up-tempo and rapid-sounding track list. Like, you could tell he went for that pop feel in this album. With good features from Kendrick Lamar and Lana Del Rey and Daft Punk twice, and a multitude of good songs, Starboy is an all-time, you could say, classic of 2016, and a reason why people always reminisce about how good of a year 2016 was. Coming in at 8, we got Beauty Behind the Madness. What this album's track list has going for it is that the highs on this album are high. I don't want to sit here and say that the radio hits, the mainstream songs are the carrying grace for this, like they carry the album. But like the songs that aren't played that much aren't necessarily gems. They're just good songs. Like they're just quality songs. There's nothing more to it other than the hits. So that's probably why it's ranked a little lower. But at the end of the day, still a great album. No true great feature performances, but you know, it's ranked 8th for a reason. It's a good track list. At 7, My Dear Melancholy, the EP dropped back in 2018. A very heartfelt but impassioned letter put into a track list. Definitely you can say that one of the most passionate EPs in history and one of the most passionate projects he's put together. He sings with this like sadness and sorrow over the past girl in his life. And it could be felt throughout his songwriting and the lyrics within the songs on this track list. A fairly quick listen. It's only like 20 to 30 minutes. And I feel it's only ranked 7th because of it. I'm happy it's an EP. It's only 6 tracks. But if this was longer and he had a multitude of melancholic songs and like an album length, like a 10 to 12 track album, it would be ranked a little bit higher. I think like it would be top 5. Coming in the 6th spot, we got Thursday. The official mixtape dropped back in the middle of 2011. 2011? Damn, I wasn't even born yet. No, I was born. But a good listen, a fun listen, no doubt about it. A really fun listen. It's very dark though. So now thinking about it, if I think it's a fun listen and it's dark, it's dark. Anyways, great songs in here like The Birds, The Zone with Drake, the beginning of Rolling Stone, just great songs, you know. And then they added on Valerie in the Trilogy in 2012, just to cap it off. You know, a great album off the Trilogy. You know, only people that may think this should be higher are Trilogy advocates that just love the past and think like all the songs in the past should be number 1. No. It's 6, and it's a great album. Rounding in the top 5, we have Kissland, the New Year's drop back in 2013. This 10-track list contains my favorite title track in the Weeknd's discography, Kissland. It starts off with a great song in Professional, and throughout the album, it keeps that dark R&B sound that the Trilogy was so known for. You know, you can't really fault them for keeping it. It was such a success. It gives me more of like an electronic feel to it in comparison.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that? What is that?
Oh, brother.
In comparison to the Trilogy mixtapes that he dropped years prior, you know, like his touch into the world as he begins to get stardom and everything around it, you know, and I feel like you can feel it within this album. So yeah, I suggest you go listen to it. It's a great listen. Watch the music videos and you'll get a feel for it. And yeah, Kissland 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Don FM, the most recent dropping back at the beginning of 2022. One of my favorite albums from 2022. He dropped this song with no true rollout. He wasn't wearing the cosmetics. He wasn't advertising as much if you compare it to his counterpart, but it delivered. I remember listening to this for the first time in my car, and it was just this cinematic experience like no other. And every time I listen to songs from this album or I look at this album, I think back to that experience, and it just hits home for me in a good way. This story that he's telling, that it correlates with the last album dropped back in 2020, and it does it so well. And the feature, Jim Carrey, was just like the sprinkling touches on top. You know, it blends so well. And I feel it's his most underrated album. I feel like this album doesn't get as much credit as it should, especially in today's day and age. So yeah, I see people troll this album like Yana FM. This album was boring. Their ears are broken. Do not listen to those people. But anyway, coming in at number 4, The Dawn. Coming in at 3 is Echoes of Silence. The mixtape dropped at the tail end of the Trilogy back in the winter of 2011. Just a great story built throughout this 10-track mixtape, leading off from the previous Thursday. You know, at the beginning, Valerie leaves, and throughout the mixtape, he just goes back to his old ways of, you know, being toxic towards women and, you know, just being very bad towards them. And then Valerie returns. He sings about that passionately throughout this whole thing, and it's just this dark, dreary, depressing album that it meshes very well, and it's a staple in his discography. You know, I love the songs off of here, like Outside, Montreal, the Michael Jackson sample, DD. There's so many hits off here, like EXO, The Host, great songs. And then obviously Echoes of Silence, that song is so sad. It fits perfectly at the end of this album. So yeah, Echoes of Silence 3. Coming in number 2, After Hours, the studio album dropped back in 2020. I want to say my favorite The Weeknd album with some of my favorite songs on here. He introduces that 80s sound with this album so well. The story rollout he had before the album drop is obviously iconic, but when it comes to that actual music, it just hits home for me. It's just a great album. You know, it's just this different twist on his career compared to the Trilogy. It's like another character, another counterpart to Abel's life. Well, it's not him, it's this character, The Weeknd. It's the display name, but he does it so well for me, and that's why I have it ranked second. You know, I love this album. I feel like this is my favorite The Weeknd album, I'd say. Like, I love this album. So many songs up here I love, like Escape from LA. I can listen to that song 20 times, and one day it'll never get old. I like Faith. Blinding Lights is my favorite radio hit from The Weeknd. Just so many great songs on here, like Missed You and Scared to Live. Man, I love this album, but it's not number 1. Coming in at number 1, House of Balloons, the first mixtape off the Trilogy. You know, so many people have so much nostalgia around this, so much just impact off this album alone. It brought in that dark R&B sound that's so potent during that time period. And it's a staple in his career. You know, it's honestly the only answer for real. Like, you can debate After Hours, I think, but for real though, House of Balloons is such a great hit, with great hits off of it. like the Wicked Games and HOB, Glass Table Girls, and The Morning. You know, just amazing songs that if they're on, there's no bad situation for it. Like anybody can just get down with these songs. You can be in a car, at a party, you could be in the studio, you can be anywhere. You can literally be in your kitchen and these good songs play. When you think of the Trilogy, I feel like most people play this out first because it's so potent and just so remembered. It just hits home. It hits home for most. You know, so yeah, House of Balloons, #1. And that's the video. I ranked every The Weeknd album from last to first. I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed. Drop a comment, drop an opinion, and yeah, sub to the channel. Sub for more. Thank you for watching. Get out of here.
Look down there. I'll fucking drag you down, Rodeo, while your fucking ass just fucking stomp you. I'll fucking curb stomp you. I'm sorry. I'll fucking...